season. We got to talk about college pick'ems, right? I went 3-0. You went 2-1 last week. Actually, you know what? I actually think I called what was going to happen almost to a T, right? I said that Alabama was going to barely sneak out of Missouri with the W. They won by 3 points, right? I saw that coming. I said, how much is Ohio State going to win by? Because I didn't think Illinois was in the same class as them. They went in and dominated them like 34-10 or something like that. I mean, the game was just out of hand in the going into the half in the third quarter. And then, of course, the one that we didn't see coming, the Indiana goes on the road and they take care of business against Oregon. I didn't think they were going to win by 10 points. I thought it would be a little bit closer of a contest, maybe like a touchdown or less type of deal. But hey, I mean, they got into a kind of a dogfight with Penn State on the road, and Penn State hasn't looked good since. And so you just got to ask, like, how really good is Oregon? And I just didn't know how that – I couldn't answer that question yet because I just kind of felt like Indiana's look good and Oregon's feel good. I said, we're going to find out which team was the best-looking team there. And, of course, you know, that just brings up pretty much another week for us to do this. For week 8, we are like well over halfway through the season at this point. You got teams fighting for bowl eligibility. You got teams fighting for playoff spots. You got teams fighting for conference championships. And this one is interesting. Okay, so you got number 10 LSU going to 17 Vanderbilt. And if you would have told me like 5 years ago, we would be saying Vanderbilt is a top 25 team and a threat to knock off LSU, I'd be like, you're smoking some type of weed and you need to be checked. But here we are. This is a noon kickoff. LSU and the fighting Brian Kellys are going up to Vanderbilt to play up there. I'm gonna be honest, man. I feel like this is a trap game for LSU. Dang. Hold on, you froze on me. Drop out, come back in. All right. So while she's doing it, it always happens at least one time, like the things drop out. But I just think this matchup is very funny, but for Vanderbilt, because Vanderbilt's clearly they have the best record in the SEC East right now. I'm not even sure if they still do divisions, but they're one of the top teams in the SEC right now. All right, see if that helped you out a little bit. Kayla.
I only have 5 tabs open, damn it.
There you go. Hey, I told the audience every time. It happens at least every time. We got lucky last time, but, you know, the show's a little lengthy. But we have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to go I think for this one, I'm going to go Vanderbilt. I just think that their team, they lost to Alabama, and I feel like that was a little bit of a salty loss for them. They talked a lot of trash heading into this game. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't liked how LSU has looked lately. I really don't. I think they're a team that's like prone for some type of another loss. I know they've already lost this year, but it just seems like Brian Kelly always has a game or two where they're supposed to win, and he just goes up and he comes up short in some fashion. And I truly believe, like, if this game was in LSU, I would pick LSU. But with them being on the road in Vanderbilt, I'm going to say that Vanderbilt gets their signature win over LSU, and LSU is in a must-win versus Alabama next week. So I'm going Vanderbilt for the upset.
Something's going to have to give. Vanderbilt is scoring about 30 more points per game than LSU is giving up. They currently give up less than 12 points per game. Vanderbilt scores more than 43. And then Vanderbilt is averaging more than 450 yards a game. One of these things is going to have to shift. The balance is not going to be able to stay that way. But I think with Vanderbilt ranking so high in the FBS in the points per game and passing and rushing, that it's just going to be too much for LSU.
So you going Vandy?
Yeah.
On Vandy. All right, cool. Next game up is a 3:00 game. We got Ole Miss going to number 9 Georgia. Oh, Let me say this: Ole Miss did not look good against a lesser opponent last week. Well, this past weekend. I don't know if you heard the comments from Ole Miss's head coach. Right? He said Lane Kiffin. He said, "Yeah, I just had to tell my quarterback this is not D2 anymore. He has to play up." I'm like, "Uh-oh, that's not good."
No.
You go to Georgia, and the thing about it is with Georgia has not looked good like offensively. They're very anemic. They like to get in like very defensive battle games. So styles make fights, right? This is a matchup where I think Ole Miss will struggle a little bit with Georgia's defense, but I think that they have enough offense to kind of overcome it. So I'm gonna go Ole Miss because Georgia just hasn't shown me that they can score enough. Like I think if Ole Miss scores over 21 points, they win this game. Like Georgia's offense, man, aside from their running game, they just have been up and down. They've been very inconsistent. The last couple of weeks they've been getting into like you can make a case when they play Auburn, they probably should have lost that game. Auburn fumbled on the 1 yard line as a quarterback was going in for a QB sneak, and they didn't call it, but Georgia takes the ball away, goes down for a touchdown, and Auburn doesn't score another point. But it wasn't like they dominated them at all. So I just think that Ole Miss bounces back. I think both teams they're kind of in that funky situation where both teams didn't look good this past week. So it just comes down to who can make the adjustments and who can, who can get it together. And I trust Lane Kiffin right now offensively more than I do Georgia and what they've shown me. So I'm going to go Ole Miss this week.
I think I'm going to take Georgia because they can play a get-right game at home. College Game Day also said they're going down there, so that's going to be an added number of fans that come out, extra oomph for wanting their team to do well. Georgia's playing in its fourth consecutive SEC game, so they have the experience more so this season with the harder competition. It's always frustrating early in the year when you get like Alabama playing Kent State, and Kent State's, I'll lose by 55 to get some money. So like Georgia really hasn't built their schedule that way this year. And I just like that they're going to have more experience, and in a closer game, I think Georgia will have the firepower at home.
All right. Next one up, we got USC at Notre Dame. This one's all about tradition here. These two teams have been playing each other for some time. A lot of history between these two. Look, you know what you're getting from USC when they're a juggernaut offensively, but they are not good on defense at all. Notre Dame has been very up and down. That's being nice, but Notre Dame has been very up and down. USC just got a big win over Michigan this past week at home. But here's the thing: USC is on the West Coast. Notre Dame is in the Midwest, so you got to factor in kind of a time difference and flying over. These are young kids. I'm going to take Notre Dame here. And I'm going to say this: I think it's going to be a shootout, but I like Notre Dame at home to win a shootout on a walk-off field goal. So I see something like a 33-30 type of game. I just don't think USC has enough defense to kind of overcome, what their offense is going to be doing for them, or at least make a key stop for them. So I'm going to go Notre Dame. I would say if this game was in Southern California, I would go USC because Notre Dame is not that great on the road. But since this is in South Bend, I'm going to take Notre Dame in a shootout.
Yeah, I agree with it being a shootout. I think that Notre Dame's defense has looked better than when they lost the first 2 weeks of the season. They know that they basically need to win out if they want to make the playoff, and I think there's nothing more than what the committee wants is to put Notre Dame in the playoff. So I think that's weighing a little bit.
Well, Kayla, are you going to go against Jesus, Kayla?
I don't know. USC has scored at least 30 points a game in every game this year. I don't know. This is so hard.
Don't overthink it.
I think because I believe in conspiracy theories that I'm going to pick Notre Dame.
Okay. All right. Cool. Last one we got this week for our top 25. And guys, just FYI how we do our college pick'ems. I forgot to mention this. We go top 25 matchups. I'm not going to pick like a number 2 versus like the bottom of the conference where they're favored by like 20 plus. Like to be favored by 20 over 21 points at this time of the season is not worth our time to go.
No.
But our closing game this week, this is a tough one here. You got Utah going to Brigham Young University. They're also another Christian, or are they a Methodist or Christian school? One of those two.
BYU is Mormon.
Mormon, excuse me. Apologies to all the mountain folks out there. But okay, so they're gonna welcome in Utah out there. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about these two teams. I know that BYU has had a lot of talent lately. I know they had a stout defense because I watched them play Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffalo. They made Shador Sanders look foolish. They couldn't really do anything defensively against them. I don't know if that defense is still intact over there. So I'm always gonna tilt towards the home team. I don't think Utah is really looked the best lately. If I watched maybe a game or two with them, but I think this is a game where BYU should edge them out by a touchdown, something like a 20-27 type of deal. So I'm gonna go BYU.
I think this is going to be a testament to the growth of the BYU quarterback. I know his first name is Bear, and I'm blanking on his last name, but they're 6-0. But Utah was favored by just a couple points this past weekend against Arizona State and won by more than 30. I think that they are better than their 23 ranking. I know that they've largely been carried by their defense. So it's one of those, can a young BYU offense beat a dominant defense in Utah, even at home? Really, Utah's offense just needs their quarterback to have an average game, and I think they'll come out of there with a win. I think it could be close, just because BYU I wouldn't say has struggled to score points, but their consistency with being able to be a dual threat offense, I don't think is there yet. So I'm going to take Utah on this one.
Okay, fair enough. And let me mention, I didn't have to look up BYU beforehand, but did you know that if you have sex on your campus, that you pretty much get expelled from school?
Yes.
So I found that I was like, you know what? Maybe that's actually a benefit to the football program, because if they're not having sex, they have a lot of testosterone, and they can just perform on the field. These are just random things that just come to my mind.
Yeah.
But hey, look, that's our pick'ems for this week. It looks like we went two different directions in 2 games, so we'll just have to see what happens. It's a tough week, though. I think they can go either way for about 3 or 4 of those matchups, or even all the matchups. So we'll see how we stack up. I did well one week, Kayla did well another week, and it's been fun to do these.